Hey everybody, Dewey back at it again with a deck profile that actually some of you did ask for this time, because yesterday I got 12th place at the Chicago Regional out of like over 500 people with Runick Fur Hire, of all things. Yay. And crazily enough, I placed ahead of like Jesse Cotton and some other really awesome players. So things are looking great in 2024, yay. So what I have for you today is a deck profile, some match review, and then some technical plays I want to show you all. But first things first, thank you to all of my locals friends at Galaxy Comic Zone, especially Chris and Memo and Jackson for making sure I had the cards I needed to play this weekend. That was very fun. And without further ado, let's go. So our Runick package is 20 cards even, which makes deck building really fun. So of course we have our 2 fountain, yes. We have our 3 tip, yay. We have our 3 slumber, yay. The reason I put these first is because these 6 can be activated on your first turn even if your opponent has no board. And that's why slumber is really important, and you should never run less than 3. 3 flashing fire is really important for us because we like to pop things, because we like to trigger Folgo as often as possible. We have 3 destruction, same reason. Destruction's also really good into Fire King if they have no protection on their field spell. Really good into Flu because they can't use their trap before main phase. We love it, we love it. Freezing Curses, Searchable Imperm, very good. And then I have 1 each of Droplet, Dispelling, and Smiting Storm. This gives you 18 quick plays, which means you are always drawing into Runicks, which means that part of your engine is never going to be dead, especially because we're searching most of our Fur Hire pieces through our combo, so that means all of your draws will be live and points of interaction. These are mostly being used for their summon effect, but there were times where I would Dispelling to rip. If I had a tip in hand and I knew someone was searching, I would tip, search Dispelling, and then rip a card out of their hand. Very useful. Smiting Storm I did use to banish a couple times, mostly just to get the fountain draw. So the fact that you can activate this whenever you want, as long as your opponent controls a card, is a lot of utility and a good reason to run it. Okay, that is our Runick package. Yay, yay, yay. We'll do some technical plays with these later. But for now, let's move on to our Fur Hires. And I have them in level order. Rafal, he is our Monster Negate and also our Pot of Prosperity. He's amazing. Wiz, I play her in the main deck. I think that you should, because here's what happens. You gain life with Wiz, and then you're in a commanding game state. Your opponent realizes they will never win, and also that they will lose if you go to time. So they will surrender. Play Wiz. She's a spell trap negate as well. Seal. I play Seal, a lot of people don't. Seal is how you make sure your Wiz and Rafal negates are always live, because Seal lets you keep adding things back to your hand. He's also secretly just another copy of Philo, because if you add something back to your hand with Seal's effect, you can then just immediately summon it with Seal's effect. Very helpful. Beat, Warrior Bunny. I did go down to 1 of him in this build. I do love him though. He's our Monster Searcher and incredibly, incredibly useful, very integral to our combo. We secretly have 4 copies of Beat though, and I'll show you how. Donpa, this is how we're usually triggering Folgo if we don't have a Runick Popper in hand. So Donpa gets to pop if we special summon a Fur Hire. Yay. I don't run his Companion Arms that pops set cards, but I did kind of want it this tournament. I might think about putting him in. We run 3 of Rex. Rex is the reason this deck is playable now. So much versatility. Our Spell Trap Searcher, our Monster Reborn, or our Add Things Back to Hand card. He's the best. We love him. And then I play a Philo. Philo lets you really extend and make sure you can have your full Fur Hire board and then also an IP. And I play 3 Rookie Fur Hire. A lot of my opponents, if they saw one in the grave, they would assume I didn't have another one, and so they would not play around another one in hand, and that won me a lot of games. Rookie Fur Hire on Hugin and draw step is also humongous, and so I wanted to do that as much as possible. This also gets us to beat way faster, and it clears our EMZ, which lets all of our other runic spells just be extenders. Very, very helpful. And 1 Mayhem. Mayhem is amazing. It's great to have 2 ways to summon Fur Hires on your opponent's turn and not just through Rex, because if Rex gets interrupted or something, or you're forced to use Rex on your first turn, Mayhem is a way to do it again on your opponent's turn. I really like this Fur Hire lineup. I might actually try Dinah, because there was a lot of graveyard decks that I think I could have messed up if I had been able to banish their graveyard. Yeah, I don't think I would cut any of these. Let's see. Here are our tech cards. And this, you know that you're playing a fun card when your opponents laugh in surprise when you play a card onto your field. Reasoning is one of those cards. Reasoning says your opponent has to guess what level of monster we are going to reveal next if we keep revealing cards from the top of our deck. If they're wrong, we summon it. If they're right, we send it to the graveyard. Either way, everything else that got revealed is sent to the graveyard, which is usually a runic spell, which means you will be drawing 3 with Fountain for the rest of the game. Yay. guess what? We secretly get to play 2 copies even though it's limited. Monster Gate, same thing, except our opponent doesn't get to declare a level and we have to tribute a monster for cost. Usually we're tributing Hugin out of the EMZ so that we can use more Runick quick plays to summon. Very, very helpful. Once your graveyard is loaded, it's really hard to lose. I played 2 talents in the main. This was really nice because I would draw into it while I was breaking people's boards, and then I would get to extend further or steal monsters and then link those monsters off. Very, very helpful. Droplet was also very useful in the main when I did not win the die roll. If I won the die roll, I would often discard it off of Hugin. Because what you can do is send your Fur Hire or your Runick quick plays that are resolving to the graveyard as part of the cost of Droplet, which kind of makes it free. Very, very useful in a quick play deck. And then finally, a Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave did win me a few games. During my one game against a voiceless voice opponent, in draw phase, he tributed his Dynamondo to try to summon out his voiceless monsters and do a bunch of more things, and I just said Called by on Dynamondo, and then I won the game. Yay. All right, now let's do the extra deck. I did make some changes here from my last profile, if you watched that, and I really, really liked them. So first of all, this is going to seem insane, but I'm playing 3 Donner. Why? Because Donner is your grind game, and face it, in Runick, you are not OTKing, you are grinding. So you should be able to do that. Sometimes you do have to go through Donner twice in your first turn, especially if you get nibbed. I'll show you that technical play later. But she is sort of the bread and butter of this deck, especially because we have so many Fur Hires. Being able to go into her later with any monster, plus any monster that is not the same type, is absolutely worth it. Definitely run 3. This, I will not ever change that ratio again. I lost a lot of games in testing because I didn't have a 3rd Donner. That did not happen to me yesterday. Volgo, I run it 2. I run him at 2, even though you can revive him later once he's been properly summoned. You kind of want his link effect in later game states to bring out the rest of your Fur Hires that you didn't get on turn 1. Very good. Other links, we have obviously IP. To go with IP, we have SP. And then also Azalea, who I did not end up making yesterday, but I made a lot in testing just to clean up sort of like messier board states. We were able to link off like a Hugin and then like a Rafal or something that you'll just bring back later. She can also clear your EMZ in weird board states if you need to, just to have more room for Runick fusions to be summoned. And she's a pop, which triggers Fulgo. Yay. Underworld Goddess. I actually did make that yesterday, and I won a game against Flu because I linked away their Empin with Underworld Goddess. And then they were not able to play after that. Yay. And then our fusions are 2 Hugin. I played a Munin, and I did not regret it. Munin is very good if you know that they're going to do something that is going to try to target your fountain. Cosmic is everywhere this format, so if you can fountain, summon a Munin to trigger your fountain to draw, they will probably let you do your summon because they're going to try to Cosmic the fountain when fountain's trying to draw, and then it will be too late. And most people aren't going to read Munin. They're just going to think it's not going to do anything up there, but it can negate and destroy the thing that tries to target your fountain, which is very helpful. 2 Jerry, very good, especially in the grind game. Again, I tried testing him at 1, and I had like a Typhon and a Mannequin Cat in here, but I lost more games because I didn't have a 2nd Jerry or a 3rd Donner than I did because I didn't have Typhon or Mannequin Cat in the extra. And I honestly did not miss them yesterday, once. Sleipnir is amazing. Sleipnir is often how you stay alive. Summoning Sleipnir in your opponent's battle phase, SPing in their battle phase, just at quick effect speed, really, really, really powerful. Also, the token that you get from Sleipnir when they draw for turn or when they add anything to their hand is really powerful. If Fire Kings are going to like do Barong in the standby phase, you can chain to summon Sleipnir, and then when they add something to their hand, you'll get a token, and that is already a Donner, because those are 2 monsters of different types. Great. Now let's do the side. The side I like really went back and forth on before this event, and I tried a lot of different things. I'm not sure that this is the perfect place to land, but it is where I did land. I did put in some Droll and Lockbirds, which meant I usually had to take out the reasoning in the monster gate, otherwise I would hit Droll, which I did do one game because I forgot to take those out. There's just so many decks that this hits, it's worth it. It's really awkward though for us because you need to do your drawing before you do this. And because this is a quick effect and not a trigger effect like it should be, you can't actually do a cute little play where you would do like Droll 1, Fountain 2, Fulgo 3. It doesn't work like that. This would have to be after Fountain and Fulgo, which means your people would not resolve. So try to do your drawing before you Droll them if you can. Twin Twisters was like MVP of the day. And Cosmics were also really good. Cosmics were a little awkward because of the life loss, and I can only gain life so fast, but Twin Twisters was great, especially into Flu, where I would pop their back row before they would ever get a chance to normal summon on my turn. And then I had a humongous Thrust package, okay? Are you ready for this? 2 Thrust, 1 D-Barrier, 1 Raigeki, 1 Herald of the Abyss, 1 Change of Heart, 1 Dark Ruler No More, 1 Soul Release, and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. I really thought that Soul Release would be much better against the boards I was going into, but it kind of was not, and I very rarely sided into it. So I think the hype was all for nothing, and I will probably not put this in my deck anymore. Maybe you can convince me otherwise, but there was just, felt like I wanted much more impactful cards that interacted with the board and not just the graveyard. Because if I can get rid of Fire King Island with Cosmic Cyclone, then they'll have to do all the graveyard things right all at once. Change of Heart also seemed really good, but I ended up against most decks that I was playing against not putting it in. So, and even sometimes I didn't put the thrusts in, I would just put the targets, which is maybe bad, but I didn't want this to just get negated. And drawing a Dark Ruler really does a lot for your strategy if it's a monster heavy board. And trying to search Dark Ruler won't work unless they let you do it for some reason. Great. From there, let's talk about what our matches were. 10 rounds of Swiss, which is so long. My brain was falling out of my ears yesterday, which is why I did not do this yesterday. Okay, round 1, I played Earthbound Runick, which was very funny. My first 2 rounds were mirrors. I won the die roll, and then it went to 3 games. I lost game 2 because I think I used the wrong mode of talents. I should have used talents to draw, not talents to steal. But I have not played with talents much in my deck, and I learned. Game 3, though, I won because I got to go first, and I set up D-Barrier, and then he tried to summon his first fusion to start synchro climbing, and I just said, no fusions with D-Barrier, and then I won. Round 2, I played another Runick deck, but this was like Runick Thunder Dragon Bestial with 50 cards. I lost the die roll there, but I won the first game, which is insane because he banished both of my fountains off the top of my deck with his Runick cards. So scary, but I still won because I was able to full go draw 3 and like get rid of his fountain with SP, and then my secondary engine was just a lot stronger and it was easier to set up. So he like could not believe that he was conceding the first game after both of my fountains were in the banished pile, but we did it. We did it, Joe. Game 2, he set up Magnamut and then eradicated me by tributing Magnamut for spells, and I had like 5 spells in my hand and I could not stop it. Very, very painful. Game 3, I did full combo and including gaining 2,500 life with Wiz, and in Runick decks, they cannot outpace me in life gain, so they just cannot beat me. It's the best Runick deck into Runick decks, I think. I also had D-Barrier, which was just icing on the cake, because then he went to try to summon a fusion. I just had D-Barrier. I'm sitting 2,500 ahead. I summoned Wiz again on his turn. It was kind of over from there. He just conceded. Round 3, I played against a friend from locals who was playing Kashtira. I don't remember if I won the die roll or not. I do know that I got shifted in 2 out of the 3 games, but I won one of those. And then, yeah, I had to just like set a bunch of Runick spells and wait, and I was able to stay alive until Shifter wore off, and then I was able to play. It worked. And then in game 3, he tried to burn me because we were running out of time with the Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. And I went to my turn and I had a Sleipnir coming back. So Sleipnir came back. So I used my 1 action to like banish that. I had taken 500 from it already somehow. And then I made Wiz and gained 1,000 and I won with 500 extra life. Normally I feel bad for doing that, but I was like, you started it. You started it. Round 4, I played Horus Makanko, which was so interesting. I won the die roll. And I just like prevented him from setting up ever. I won with like 10 cards in my hand, and he just gave up. But he likes the Fur Hire, so he was not too mad at me. Round 5, I played Rescue Ace. So here's a thing that I did that I would recommend you do if you're a Runick player. Pretend that you have evenly matched in your hand. Do not activate anything in the draw phase. Think and draw, go to standby, go to main, attempt to move to battle. And your opponent will freak out, and if they're Rescue Ace, they probably don't want their stuff to be banished face down, so they might activate the spells and show you where the traps are. This was very helpful because I had a few things in my hand. I think this was post-siding, so I had Twin Twisters in my hand. So he activated both his spells, and then I twin twisted the 2 traps, and then I was able to play after that, which was very, very satisfying. And then in game 3, we were going to go into time. I had full combo, whiz life gain, control the game state, do not allow him to do damage to me. I win. Round 6 was Fire King Snake Eye. I lost 0-2. Ow. I got nibbed both games. And just so bad. I could have played around it the first game, but I'd gotten very comfortable because no one had nibbed me all day. The way that you play around it in this is, I'll show you in a technical play later, you actually just play into it and you save Donner. And then you use their token and Runick Fusion to make Donner summon back some bodies, and then you're ready to go next turn. Yeah, big bummer. Fire King Snake Eye is very, very strong. Round 7, I played against Flu, and it was an interesting deck build. Like, was main decking like 3 Feather Storm, all sorts of stuff. In one of the games, he like got out, put all his small birds on the field, and then didn't have room to like summon anything else. So he ended up going into like into the Lyrilusk rank 1 to try to like go into Zeus, but I just made it so it couldn't attack, and then later I just popped it. So it was very interesting. And then I twisted one game before he could use his trap. Yay. Voiceless Voice, I think I mentioned, was round 8. I lost the die roll, he did full combo, but then did the Dynamondo line where he tributed Dynamondo in my draw phase to try to summon back the Ritual, which would then let Lo come back, and Lo would play something else, and I just called by the Dynamondo. Brutal. And then game 2, he Jowgen locked me with Branded Fusion. Just Branded Fusion, send Albaz Jowgen for Sanctifier. Sanctifier summon both of those back. And then he would like out his own Jowgen because he brought it to his field by like tribute summoning Saphira, which was crazy. And then game 3, I think he maybe Jowgen locked me again, but I got out of it somehow and then was able to whiz combo. I think I popped it with Runick Spells or negated it with Runick Spells. Yeah, and then was able to gain life and prevent him from ever doing damage to me. Yay. Round 9, I played a rescue-based player, and the game 1 went like 35 minutes, and I think it was pretty clear, like maybe 15 minutes in, that like I was in control of the game and he wasn't gonna be able to kill me. And I think he just sort of just scooped and he got really mad, and there was a judge call. It was very dramatic. The judge call was because like he kept summoning non-fires while Promethean Princess was on his field, and then I didn't notice it the second time, and we got really far, and then we had to go back, and whatever, we fixed it. But then, you know, with like 7 minutes left, we go into game 2, and he conceded game 1 because he had like 3 cards left in his 60-card deck. And he let me go first. So I was like, okay, full combo, whiz gain 2,500 or some amount of life. And then I had to set up to do it again on his turn, and I had like Slumber and like a bunch of Runick Spells to like stop him. He was very angry. But I was like, dude, I'm never going to attack you for game. In all 10 rounds, I did exactly 0 points of battle damage. I never attacked my opponent. You don't have to in this deck. That's the whole point. Round 10, I played the like guy who was in the first seed because he had not lost a single game. He had 1 draw. He was the guy who ended up winning the whole thing. So to be paired against him, because I was X1 at that point, was really cool. Fire King Snake Eye, I won the first game, which was awesome, and then lost the next 2. The second game, he had Judgment, Cosmic, and like full combo. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. Nice guy though, very cool. Cool, so now I wanna show you a few technical plays. So let me get these things out of here. We'll leave a droll around so we can show how we're trying to play around it. And I'll show you what we're likely to have in our hand and how we do this. Or actually, I'll just show you the board state. So let's say, you know, our opponent has Droll here. They're thinking about using it. We have a Donner. We did our searching in the draw phase, so we have a Fountain. And in our graveyard, we have a Rex and a Beat that we're trying to bring back. So here is a way that you can play around Droll by just doing all of your searches in the same chain. This also sets up a chain block for Ash, which is really good. So any Runick spell here that we haven't used to summon is fine. So let's take like a Golden Droplet. So this is our hand, right? Our hand is just, I'll move these, is just Golden Droplet. And we have a Donner on field, and we have these 2 guys in the graveyard. And say we haven't searched with either of them somehow. We will do this. We will Donner, tribute for cost, ask if our opponent has a response. If they do not, we will chain golden droplets to summon from our extra deck a Runick Fusion. Doesn't matter which one, but usually a fairy is a good idea here. If you think they might have Cosmic, summon Munin. Okay, so then this will resolve backwards. We summon, and we summon. Now, in a new chain, imagine we have another Runick spell here. We would, if we did it the right way. You could even have a fourth chain link here if you had another card to discard, but say we didn't. So now what we'll do is we will do Fountain 1, target, Beat 2, Rex 3. So even if they have Droll, we will get our Rex search, we will get our Beat search, and we will get our Fountain draw 2 or 3 before they're able to activate Droll. And then you should have enough to go into anything you need here, because you'll be able to go into Folgo, get out your Donner or your Donpa, and then summon somebody back next turn and do it all again. Pretty good. All right, and then something else I want to show you is playing into nib. So here's what's going to happen if you get nibbed. I don't have a nib to sit over here, so this hippo token will be nib. We'll use it in a second. So say that, we've done our full combo, we go like end of main. So what our board would look like, probably, is Folgo, and then maybe just a Donpa, and some people in Grave, probably a Donner. If our opponent Nibiru's us, all of this will go to the graveyard. And this is why it's really important to play Philo. So imagine that Philo has become a part of this combo at some point. Where are you, little buddy? This is why you should save Donner. You should not use Donner if you do not need to, because now, when they Nibiru us, we will get a token. If we have any runic spell left in hand that we have not used yet, probably like a one that we couldn't use on the first turn, like a Flashing Fire or Destruction or something, we can use that, summon a Runick Fusion, make it Munin, perhaps. If you haven't searched your second fountain, you could do that now with a Hugin, so then you can draw even more. You link these two for another Donner, and then you can Donner Tribute, and you can get back 2 people here. If you have Philo, you can actually get back a bunch of people. So if you do Philo, you can Philo target, so you'll get Donpa, and then you'll Philo effect for like a beat. And then what you can do on your opponent's turn is you can use Rex just to summon back this Folgo. You could even do another link here if you wanted to, so that you could do Philo again, but I think you want to leave Philo there for now. And that should give you more than enough bodies to survive, and yeah. Another thing that you should know, there's a few things about resolving spells that I would like to say. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is something about Droplet, which you may not know. Many people do, but just in case. Droplet can send things that are on the field that are resolving, such as a normal spell. So you can activate in the same chain, tip to search, no response, or if they have response, chain Flashing Fire, and then you can chain Destruction. They'll probably use some sort of like negates in here. If they do, chain Droplet, send any number of these to the graveyard, and then you'll get to negate the effects of that many face-up monsters that your opponent controls. Note, if they have IP here though, they can make your Droplet resolve without effect, because Droplet needs to negate exactly that number that you sent. So it might be worth sending a Fur Hire from hand, or a Runick Fusion, to make sure that they cannot respond with monster effects, because right now they're only prevented from responding with spells. Another thing about Destruction specifically, if our opponent activates a quick play spell, or where's our fountain? A quick play spell or a normal spell, something that is not going to stay on the field, you can still activate Destruction, target it, and destroy it. It will not negate it, of course, because that's not what that does, but it does destroy it, which is good for 2 reasons. 1, it will banish 4 cards off the top of their deck, which is good. 2, it will trigger Folgo to draw, and it will count. Folgo will get to draw 3. So if your opponent doesn't play a lot of spells and traps, like if they're super heavy or something, it might be good to do this even if it's not like a good target, just to take the 4 cards out of their deck, to get the fountain draw, to get another card engraved, and to get your Folgo draw. And then another thing I want to show you. If your opponent has IP Masquerena, there are a few ways that you can deal with this. Your first way is anytime before the main phase, you use a Runick spell to summon Sleipnir. Now SP is checked, because anytime they activate SP, you chain Sleipnir in your main phase to banish. IP will resolve without effect because it's not on the field. Another way you can do this is if you know that they're probably just going to go into into SP, you will on chain 2, when they activate IP, you will chain to summon, and you will summon Munin. And many opponents here will make their SP, where is she? They'll make their SP, and they will target Fountain to try to banish it. And you will simply say, Munin, banish for cost to negate and destroy, which is great. And if they SP anything here, they will have to target SP herself and something else, which if they're getting rid of more cards on their field, better for you. I think those are the main things I wanted to show you today. So thanks for coming along on this journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any ideas for me or want to cook with me, join my Discord and chat with me. Always a fan of fun texts and insights. For now, I hope you have a lovely time playing everyone's favorite card game, and don't forget that Fulgo is my boyfriend. Okay, bye.